One evening as my spouse, Sarah, tugged me gently toward the sofa, a heavy tension lingered in the air. Her hands trembled slightly, and her gaze avoided mine, revealing an inner unrest. I thought it might be something minor, perhaps stress over our finances or a tough day at work. But then, with a quivering breath, she looked into my eyes and spoke words that tilted my world. "I've developed feelings for another person." For a brief moment, time seemed to halt, as if the cosmos itself had stilled. No shouts erupted from me, no tears spilled. Instead, a faint smile curved my lips, not born of joy, but of a strange calm that settled deep within. "All right," I whispered quietly. Sarah's expression shifted to confusion. She had likely prepared for an outburst or heartbreak, but I stood, walked to the kitchen, and poured a glass of water. That single word, "all right," hung between us, leaving her speechless. For years, I had exhausted myself trying to repair our unraveling connection. I had ignored the late-night messages she concealed, the impromptu trips with friends, and the coldness that had crept into her tone. Deep down, I had felt the cracks forming. Her revelation didn't break me. It simply affirmed the reality I had long suppressed. In an unexpected twist, it freed me. Sarah stumbled through her justifications, insisting it was a mistake, that she never intended to hurt me. Her words barely reached me. With a composed tone, I told her to pack her belongings and go to the one she believed she cared for. That night, I gathered her things, set them by the door, and slipped into bed without another word. She left in silence, unaware that her departure was the greatest gift she could have given. The weeks that followed were unexpectedly peaceful. The stillness in our house no longer felt empty, it felt cleansing. I immersed myself in my work, focused on my health, and reconnected with friends I had let drift away. My life, once bound to her unpredictability and secrets, now revolved around my own aspirations. About a month later, Sarah appeared at my doorstep. Her eyes were puffy, her confidence shattered, a mere shadow of the woman who had left. She asked if we could talk. Though reluctant, I invited her in. Tears fell before she even sat down, her voice cracking as she said, "I made a horrible error. He wasn't who I thought he was. I still love you." I studied her, wondering if her regret was sincere or another performance. A part of me longed to believe her. We had shared a lifetime after all. But another part remembered the sleepless nights, the persistent doubts, the pain. "You said you loved someone else," I replied calmly. "Now you claim it wasn't real." She nodded frantically, insisting she had been confused, swayed, scared. She wanted me to believe her earlier words were a momentary lapse. Yet that same tranquility from the night of her admission returned. "Sarah," I said gently, "it's finished. Your actions revealed who you are." Her face paled. She reached for my hand, but I stepped back. I explained that I had already moved on, that I had no interest in rebuilding what had crumbled. Love, once broken by betrayal, becomes a shadow, familiar in form but devoid of warmth. She begged, suggesting counseling, proposing a fresh start. But her desperation only sharpened my clarity, underscoring the serenity I had found without her chaos. I told her she needed to find her own path, one that no longer included me. After she left, I stood by the window, watching her figure fade into the distance, just as it had weeks earlier. This time, however, no sorrow or rage stirred, only resolve. She had made her choice, and I had finally made mine. In the months that followed, I mended what her actions had torn apart, not by seeking someone new, but by rediscovering myself. I ventured to new places, embraced new interests, and found authentic joy in my laughter once more. The most painful endings, I realized, can lead to the most tranquil beginnings. Sarah reached out a few more times, but I never replied. I harbored no resentment, only gratitude. Her confession had shaken me awake from a fading illusion. She believed she had shattered me, but in truth, she had liberated me from a love that had long withered. When friends ask if I regret letting her go, I respond with ease. Not for a second. Because when she said, "I've developed feelings for another person," and I replied, "All right," I didn't lose a spouse, I rediscovered myself.